request for abatement, map 119, lot 21. This is a taxpayer requesting abatement because they asserted the real estate market has declined in the past 3 years. They've cited several sales, but have not supplied an expert opinion on the value of this date. Recommends denying it, so the taxpayer asserts that the market has declined for the past few years, in contrary to most published reports and what we are seeing in Ossipee. So he is recommending denying it. The value is $262,400. He's left the value at $262,400 and recommends denying it. Make a motion we approve the denial.
Second.
Any discussion?
One thing I would add is these people paid $266,000 for that property, and it's assessed at $262. So it seems to me that it probably is correct.
Reasonable.
Reasonable. And with that, I.
That was in 2013. They paid $266,533.
And it's assessed at $262.
Yeah. Make a motion we approve it.
Second.
Deny it.
Deny it.
Deny it, right. Any more discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meant the approval of the denial. But. We have another one here, one more abatement. Lot number 120, map number 127, lot 005. And again, assessed value is $58,600. The revised assessment is $58,600. The assessor is recommending denial again. Says the taxpayer is requesting abatement because his assessment increased in 2015. He has compared his assessment to landlocked parcels in Ossipee. No expert opinion of value has been supplied at this time. The taxpayer has not provided any relative information to support his appeal. Make a motion we deny this.
Second.
Any discussion?
The only added thing is that that particular land that he is comparing to landlocked is not in fact landlocked. There's a deeded right of way to that land, so it's not a landlocked parcel. So it wouldn't even have been a fair comparison to compare that to other landlocked land for value. That's
Okay.
it.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Brad, I got a check from Casella, something for the dump, but you know what it's for?
I'd have to look at it.
$2,154.10. Made out to the town of Ossipee. It just doesn't say what, I'm sure it's something that got recycled, it just doesn't say what it is.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what we shipped out of there. The check will just be showing up now.
I have a highway department work log for anybody who would like a copy is welcome to it. I have a letter here going out to property owners. It just says our records, we do this on an annual basis. Our records show that you have submitted an intent to cut timber for the tax year April 2016 through March 31 of 17. We have not yet received a report of cut on your timber operation. And then it goes on to tell them the procedure they have to do to notify us. Make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I have here an intent to excavate. Map 235, lot 4, Duncan Lake Road, Green Oak Realty. Make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
To date, the 13th?
Yep.
It is.
I have an application here for a tax exemption. This is for an elderly exemption. It has been reviewed by our assessor, and he has said it is okay. She does qualify. Make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Treasurer's report, reconciliation of cash book and bank balances. Just in here for Selectmen's opinions. Anybody that's interested in it, you're welcome to discuss it. The letter here for Zoning Board of Adjustment, motion for a variance has been granted. Stephen Ingram, 58 Ridge Road, from Article 4, Section 642 of the Ossipee zoning ordinance to build a 24 by 48 square footage home with two 22 by 20 foot bump outs. It's an approval, this notification to us. Anybody who would like a copy of it, it comes out of the zoning board. Anybody that wants to appeal it, they have 30 days to appeal it. I also have a timber tax warrant from our tax collector. Name of the state of New Hampshire, you're hereby directed to collect the yield tax from the list herewithin, committed to you for the amount of $1,926.62. Make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Just general type information that I was going to put out. I know the storm is coming in. The emergency number, if anybody is watching or wants it for Eversource, is 1-800-662-7764. It's also on everybody's electric bill. So if you have it, it's supposed to work. I was telling these guys I had lost power last week in the windstorm. I called Co-op's emergency out number and they told me my power wasn't out. I didn't have any power. I actually had to go through their office to convince them that
His light bulbs didn't work.
my light bulbs didn't work. I'm on a little subline off the main line, and a tree went down and blew the fuses for that one little subline. It only feeds like 3 houses in the village. They came right over and fixed it. I mean, Co-op is really good. They do a great job. I have the water sewer here. I have a voucher for the water sewer department for their bills. It includes payroll, health and safety, health insurance, life insurance, system maintenance, and other bills for $4,260.51. Make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Completes both the red folder and it completes the water sewer. Old business, nothing's changed much on the intersection of 28-171. Nothing's changed much on 16-25 or 28 intersection. Hazardous dilapidated buildings, I did last week contact the town attorney to discuss it with him. Needs to get the file out and dust it off. 9 Doors Corner Road, we are working very hard on that one to clean that up there. Rec committee, we discussed with the rec director today on that. He's in the process of coming up with some good ideas and be moving forward to see if he can get people to assist him in the rec department. I see we approved training for highways, water, sewer. For you, Brad, you had something in there for training tonight in the bills and
Yeah, for the,
licensing.
for the training to get the water distribution and treatment licenses. Yeah.
Keep working forward with it as best we can for all the people we need to have licensed and try to get them licensed as soon as we can possibly do it, because the more we have, the better we are.
Also sent in the ones for myself and for Chris here to,
Yep.
for the solid waste.
Good. Any old business?
Covered Bridge. We hear anything back from them
I
on?
did. I did get an email back from Sean that he got notice that through Cultural Resources, who I reported last week was kind of holding up the works there, signed off on it, and so it is moving now through the rest of the process. They have the preliminary design and the permitting process that they had submitted it for. So that hurdle was done. Sean said in his email, I kind of put a note that it was a big step in getting that through that process there. So.
All right, but wasn't it DES that talked about requiring mitigation?
Well, this is part of, this is all in that cultural resources meeting that came out and stuff,
Yep.
so with them signing off means, I'm not sure, I think they might still be talking mitigation and stuff, but it's in that process now, moving through there to determine that. I did email back Sean notifying him, like as I reported before, that we did the bridge wetlands permit up here for Valley Road, same thing, Tier 3 river crossing. And there was no mention and no need at all for any mitigation on that one, so their statement saying that because it's tier 3, you have to do it, doesn't really hold any water, you know.
I'd like to encourage you to have you reach back out to whoever on this issue of mitigation, because I plan to construct a letter. Frank, I know you won't be here next week, but I know you'd agree with it if you were. I firmly, and I mean firmly, believe that the town of Ossipee should not pay not one single penny towards any mitigation.
I agree.
And what I'd like you to do is to reach back out to DES on that subject, and if it is their intention to try to require mitigation, then I want our state reps on it, I want the governor on it, this is absolutely asinine. This is, and I'll say it again, the same bridge going across the same river in the same spot. It should not require us to jump through more hoops. If anybody wants to know why government doesn't work, they ought to look at this bridge project alone. Before we're done, we will have spent $1 million of taxpayer money, whether it came from the federal, state, or out, it's all still all our money. We will have spent $1 million and taken 10 years. If this was an Ossipee project, if we had simply done it ourselves, I seriously believe that for $300,000, that bridge would already be back across that river and flowing traffic. Do you disagree?
No, it might be a little more than that. I think, but the thing is too, it's about 1.8 million, it's pushing 2 million is what everything is into it for, so I think pushing $500,000, we'd be pretty much on track.
But this would have done, this bridge would have been done years ago.
Yes.
Years. It's absolutely crazy. I intend to be a prick, quite frankly, on the issue of mitigation. I will not sign one single check for one single penny for mitigation. If they want to leave that $700,000 that they've already done sitting on blocks across the river, so be it. I'm not gonna authorize that. So if you would reach out to them, find out about, if you nail down those, and we'll stick Ed Comeau and Lino and the rest of them on. This is stupid. I mean, it's
Thank you,
past
Ed.
stupid. That's all on the whole business.
Anything from you under old business?
Nope. Good.
But I do agree with you.
I knew you would.
I'm not gonna be here so I can conveniently say have fun, but. I think it's crazy. Anytime you get tied up in federal and state funds, my goodness, it's like our sidewalk project, just went poof and no need of it. Any new business?
The only thing I have under new business is this is your last meeting. I'll be saying a couple of things tomorrow night. I won't beat up on you, Wednesday night rather, I
will.
promise. This is Frank's last meeting, and it has been, for me, an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Frank, I've known Frank for
Ever.
30 years, back when he was on the fire department and I was a lowly patrolman, I guess,
You got
probably
it.
when we first met. He was a selectman back in the 70s.
Yep, late 70s.
Had a full career and then decided after retirement to throw his hat back in the ring, and he has been a very, very good member of this board. He's an incessant reader. He has kept us headed in a very positive direction, and with his help, there's a lot of things that we've changed. We've made a lot of progress in our finances, on our policies and procedures. I mean, you have done a fantastic job. I know it's because of your health that you're not running, and if you had, I believe you would have been soundly reelected.
Thank you.
We certainly wish you the very best, most importantly for your health.
Thank you.
But thank you very much for all that you've done, and it's been a true pleasure working with you.
Thank you very much. It's been a good opportunity.
I'd also like to say, when Frank first come aboard, we banged heads a little bit, but over the last 3 years, working with Frank has been an honor for me. I've learned a lot from him. I imagine if he was with us again, I would learn a lot more. He's a very intelligent man with town business. As I say again, one of the best selectmen this town's ever had.
My head will be so swelled when we get out of the doors here tonight. My goodness. Okay, open to the public. Anybody get the public? Oh, come on, you know, they got a good roll going here, so. Tom?
Tim Otterbach, I for one want to thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I know your efforts in town certainly precede even my coming to the town 7 years ago, but after doing a lot of reading about the workings of the town over the last year and a half or so, I've realized that your efforts certainly have not gone unnoticed.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Good luck to you in the future too.
Thank you. Any other public input? If not, I have a need to go into non-public tonight. It'll be RSA 91A32, A through E. It'll be for both personnel issue and for tax issues. So I'll make a motion that we go to a non-public. Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Frank Riley, yes. We will return just as soon as we possibly can.
They have their own little accounting system over there, and it's useless. We'll fix that shortly.
I signed all of them.
No, this is from last week. They found some we didn't sign.
I thought I signed them. These are in addition. I'm signed. I didn't sign that one. Pen back together, it works better.
Did you get that from the bank?
Signed that one. I signed that one, and I signed that one. Somebody didn't sign that one. You didn't sign that one. Okay, make a motion to go back into public meeting.
Second it? Yep.
Okay, we had a non-public, both personnel and taxpayer, and the minutes are sealed. Any more public input? Ed?
How are you doing for tomorrow's vote with the storm? You just hoping everybody's gonna show up at the beginning of the day, or?
Hope so.
Voting is open. Polls open at 10. The last forecast I heard was late morning for here, so 10, 11 o'clock. I would expect the voting to be brisk between 10 and 12, I guess, but
Be open till 7 tomorrow night.
this is New Hampshire.
And then the rest of the town meeting will take place on Wednesday, the 15th, sat in here in the gymnasium at 6:30, which will be dealing with the rest of the warrant articles after what's voted on tomorrow. What else to tell you? I really hope it will be a good turnout. It really makes me nervous because when you have weather like this and you get a real small turnout, there's not enough people coming in to make the decisions that need to be made. It's made by a very small group, but we have no choice. We're told we have to run the meeting tomorrow. So,
And in fairness, and I don't say it just because they're sitting here, our highway crew, the routes are not so huge that the roads will be kept passable at all times. We are a hardy bunch, and no matter how much snow we get in the end, the next day, the roads will be all cleared up and we'll be able to go anywhere we want to go. But people should be careful, but we certainly want them to come out and vote and participate.
On that same vein, right, during the several storms we had this winter, I must say the town has done a very admirable job of keeping,
thank you.
let me say, ahead of the game, as opposed to even some of the state groups
I-
that have been out.
I would agree. There are
marvelous
sometimes
job.
when I believe Ossipee roads are in much better shape than the state roads. And, but people, you take your time, use caution. Our roads will be passable.
Any other public input?
Yeah, I have one quick question. This came up to me, and somebody asked me this because they knew I was on conservation. I said, I don't know anything about it, but they asked me why the signs were put up on several of the town roads with the low limits, and I said, I don't know. I've seen that on several towns. And I
It's to
don't know.
preserve our roads. Our roads at this time of year are very soft.
It's from the frosty issue.
Frost is
That's what
going
I
out.
thought it was,
They're
because I
soft
see it-
and any heavy load will actually damage the roadway. So we put the signs up. We do work with local contractors. If we have a morning where things are frozen,
Yeah.
we will let them run, but they need to coordinate that with the public works director or the highway foreman.
I was about to answer with that response, but I'm
Yeah.
because I
That's the
assume
answer.
that's what it was, 'cause I've seen that in other states as well.
And in particular on the tarred roads, what happens is, I mean, when that frost is coming out, the edges are soft and the larger trucks will break they'll bust the roads up.
And it doesn't take longer than to start unraveling.
It doesn't at all. And, you know, we will keep them posted only as long as we absolutely need to. We understand that there are people who make their living out of driving trucks over those roads, and we'll get back on as soon as we can. But it doesn't make any sense to let them run and do hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage. So.
Anything else from the public? If not, I make a motion we adjourn.
Oh,
Whoops, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to add, there was a delegation meeting today, we did get to go over the budget. Budget's looking very good. Doesn't look like there's gonna be any raise in taxes, but we'll know that when we do our final vote in Concord. But I wanted to report to you that the delegation did authorize $75,000 to White Horse Addiction Center. Just wanted you,
Good.
probably the first group to hear this.
Nice.
It's nice to hear, and I listen, as a member of the delegation, most of those requests are normally steered to the towns. But the opioid crisis in particular is significant enough, I believe, that every government entity needs to get involved. Everyone. It's too big for these small towns to do on their own, although, you know, we're doing our part, I hope. But I'm glad that the delegation is, I was surprised it did, because I wasn't sure they would, given their history. But I was very happy that they did.
Yeah, we originally, it was gonna be brought down to 50,000, but then it was brought back up.
It is very, very, very much needed.
And the reason why it went up to 75 is because there is a memorandum of understanding with the delegation to give them benchmarks to go by. So there'll be a quarterly report from White Horse, so we know that they're doing exactly what they're being told.
That program is already taking off. They're doing an intensive outpatient program down here now. It's being well attended. They are operating as a vehicle to get people from here into beds and treat. They're working hard down there, and they need help. Like everything else, it all costs money. But I'm glad the delegation did fund it. I wasn't sure they would.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.
Well, they reduced, in the farm, they reduced the DPW budget. There's no farm budget, there's a DPW farm which wrapped up in it. And the delegation did vote last time to take out $10,000 to finish paying off the wood processor, sell the wood processor, but that's not up to the delegation, but that's the $10,000, and then reduce the DWP line down. They are looking at, you know, the ideas are still there about the hay fields are not going to disappear because they're going to either find a way of leasing them or keep them up until they can figure out what's going to be done with them. But wood processing, even the commissioners have agreed, wood processing has got to stop. So, does that answer your question?
Got to stop based on the non-competition thing. Is that
That's
mainly
not
what's
the only
driving?
thing. It's it not technically making any money when you add in all of the labor that it takes, and also to have the inmates have to be monitored. I mean, it got to the point. There was so much misinformation. The public seemed to have gotten the point that there were, 20, 30, 50 people working on wood processing, and that's not how it was. I mean, they averaged it out to 2.7 people at a time, because you can't work somebody who's not sentenced yet. Where at the people that were sentenced, in order to save money, they were throwing the wood over the fence for them to bag it. It just wasn't making any sense to do it that way.
And I understand that argument. And I know there've been a bunch of articles about whether or not the farm was making any money, and if it was making money, how much was it making? Was it costing money?
Yes.
The farm itself was costing, was a net loss.
Yes, and it can be proven, and this was the people that wanted the farm to maintain the way it was. We're looking at numbers, and you can go back to the film. Even the farm committee that was formed by the commissioners had immense trouble trying to find the real numbers. So you had different numbers from different people. But I think at the end, I think everybody basically agreed that we can't look, even if you look at the Farm Committee report, they did not look all the way back to 2014, 2013. They couldn't, because it was almost impossible to look at those numbers and come to the conclusion if it was making money or not. Now, there is going to be another Farm Committee Phase 2 formed. So there is going to be a continuation of looking at what to do with the assets of the county. So that word farm may not be there, but it's the land assets have to be taken care of. You have I don't know, a forest management has to continue. So, and there's buildings that have to be maintained, so there are things that the commissioners are gonna have to look at in order to go forward with any type of use of that property.
The only thing I would add, and for what it's worth, just my opinion, and as a member of the delegation, I'll share it with you, that even, I disagree with them shutting down the farm. I said this from the get-go. I worked in corrections in Carroll County 30 years ago, at a time when other counties were getting rid of their farms. And without exception, every single one of them, in the years that followed, ended up spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to do vocational training for the inmates because they had nothing for them to do. That being said, you know, the delegation will do what the delegation does. I disagree with them closing the farm down. They've done that. I absolutely, even though it would make a big difference to this town if that land were taxable and not owned by the county, I think it would be a horrific mistake for them to turn around and sell off that county land.
That has never, ever been on the table.
Well, it may not have been on the table, but it has been discussed, and I would hope that that never comes to fruition.
One individual came to one delegation meeting and wrote a letter saying that we should sell it for condos, and that was it. Once you say that, that was the end of that.
But, okay, so I hope then that the delegation will continue to be completely against selling off any of that county land.
I think that's been said.
Okay.
Now, about the rehabilitation. The inmates now have expanded rehabilitative services for drugs, alcohol, and all kinds of stuff now. I mean, we've hired a LADAC, which is a drug counselor. We're actually hiring another part-time. There's grants coming in. They're going to create more programs to get people to have outpatient services who are leaving the jail because of drugs, because primarily that's what's in there now. So by saying the farm is gone and that there's going to be no rehabilitation, that was the only thing. If you go to the meetings and speak,
I never said that. I never said that was the only thing. I understand that there are other things going on. I'm just, I do know what somebody could very quickly find how much the other counties spent once they did get rid of the farm.
I think it's important to note, and I'll state it, this delegation, and not a single member on it, including you, that has any credibility with me.
On the issue of the farm.
I think you have done a lousy job on keeping that farm up and showing the numbers truly. And none of you have an ounce of credibility with me on that farm, not including you.
well, I've filmed every single meeting to prove to everybody that the truth is there. So that's all I can do.
Good luck.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other public input? Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.